What's going on, everybody? Todd here. Today's an exciting day for me because I get to tell you what I think about the 2022 Ford Lightning. Now, this is the Platinum, which is the highest trim package, and it's painted in rapid red. The Lightning has seen a lot of controversy since it's the first EV to enter the full-size truck market. But we're not going to talk about how it compares against gas or diesel powered trucks. Instead, today we're just focusing on the Lightning. Now, at this point, I would be telling you all about the engine, popping the hood, and telling you what kind of power it produces. Instead, what we're going to do is pop the hood and tell you about the front-facing trunk, or the frunk. We've got 14 cubic feet of storage area for up to 400 pounds of cargo. We've also got this little compartment right here that can be lifted up for more organized storage, and this lid can be used as a multifunctional partition. In the back of the frunk, we've also got a panel that can be lifted up to expose an automotive style battery. But if you want to give your neighbor a jump, don't use that one. There's actually a couple of 12-volt DC posts underneath this panel. That's what you would use to rescue your neighbor. Now, one of the things that I think is the coolest thing about the frunk is this little panel right here. Behind here, we've got a power distribution area. We've got a couple of USB and USB-C ports, and we've also got 4 standard household style 120 volt outlets. Now, this is up to 2400 watts, so it will power just about anything that you keep plugged in at the house. So if you want to take your powered cooler with you on the trip and keep your cold beverages in there, or you can also plug in and charge your batteries for your power tools. Like other F-150s, the Lightning features an all-aluminum body, and that's really important for range because it reduces weight. Now, speaking of range, the Platinum comes with the extended range battery as a standard feature and is good for 300 estimated miles of range. Now, we've also got a payload capacity of 1,657 pounds, and we can tow up to 8,500 pounds. We've got dual motors to produce 580 horsepower and a tremendous 775 foot-pounds of torque. But I can't just talk about the good stuff without bringing up the drawbacks. That 300 miles of range, that's estimated, and that's figuring on optimal driving conditions. If you're on the highway, your efficiency is reduced, and so is your range. The more payload you have in the back, the less your range is going to be. And towing takes a huge toll on range. The network of charging stations is growing every day, and at about 40 minutes to charge the truck on some of those, that makes it a lot more practical. But on the other hand, if you primarily use your truck just for driving around town, you might tow occasionally, you're probably just going to use the at-home charging station the most, and that's going to end up costing you less to charge your truck than you would normally pay to fuel a traditional truck. As far as off-road use, the Lightning is all-wheel drive, so you have torque to all 4 corners. And if you go into off-road mode, it will lock the rear. Now, it'll also put you into 360 camera view so you can monitor things like rocks and other obstacles. The big heavy batteries are on the bottom, so it gives you a really low center of gravity, and because you don't have a big heavy engine up front, you have nearly 50-50 weight distribution, and that's really helpful when you're off-roading. Now, if you're concerned about the batteries and the motors down there, don't be. The entire truck is almost completely covered with heavy-duty skid plates, so there's plenty of protection. Now, don't expect the Lightning to perform like a fully built off-road rig, but it can handle its own. Heading to the back, we have the bed. Now, this is a standard Ford F-150 5.5 foot bed, the same bed dimensions. We can use the same tie-down locations, the same liners. We've got the same compatibility with tonneau covers and bed racks. We've even got the work surface and the tailgate step built into the tailgate like on other F-150s. The main thing that separates this bed from other F-150s is this power bank right back here. We've got a couple of 120 volt power outlets that are just regular household power outlets, kind of like what we had in the front, but most trucks that have a power outlet in the bed limit that output to 400 watts. And that's okay for maybe charging some batteries or running a couple of lights, but you can't even heat up water for coffee. This right here doesn't limit it to 400 watts, it's 2400 watts. So pretty much, yeah, anything that you plug into the house, you can also plug in right here. We've even got a 240 volt 4-pin that you can use even like power a welder. So I can take this off grid. I can take it camping, use accessories, powered accessories camping. I can take it to the job site and run power tools. Now, can I also use these outlets and run down my battery and my truck completely dead? I absolutely could. Fortunately, they give you a range threshold, so you can set that range to whatever you want. And if suppose you want 60 miles in your range, it will limit the power to where you still have 60 miles worth of range left, so you don't leave yourself stranded. Let's go ahead and get back up into the truck, take her on the block, and then we'll head back to the studio. You know, I'm kind of a lifelong horsepower junkie, so I absolutely love the quickness that the Lightning gives you. Oh, man. Oh. You know, propelling from 0 to 60 in like 4.5 seconds is amazing, especially considering that we're moving about 7,000 pounds worth of truck. And something that I don't think gets enough attention is the fact that it handles really well on the street too. Remember, we've got that really low center of gravity. We've got the 50-50 weight distribution. That's really good for on-road performance. So really, when I'm not doing truck stuff, I can kind of do sports car stuff. Lightning's also really comfortable to drive, but that probably has a lot to do with the fact that we have coil springs in the back instead of leaf springs. And those just generally give you a better ride anyway. There's also no engine, so no engine noise. It is so quiet. It's almost, for me, too quiet. Of course, I'm the guy that likes to modify the exhaust and the intake to make the truck sound more aggressive. And that's just not really a thing with EVs, at least yet. But Ford does give you kind of this cool propulsion sound that you can pipe into the truck while you're driving. But for me, that's just not really the same. I really appreciate they didn't try to make it look like a spaceship on the inside. It still feels like a truck. It's an extremely comfortable truck with lots of modern updates, but it's still a truck. It borrows some features you can find on the current F-150, like Blue Cruise, which is their hands-free driving mode. You've got the retractable shifter and also the console that folds down into a work surface. But there are things exclusive to the Lightning that really stand out to me. First, there's a massive 15.5-inch infotainment screen, and the navigation is really user-friendly. The Platinum trim that we have will also allow you to set up your smartphone as your truck's key, and then there's one pedal driving. With that enabled, whenever you lift your foot off of the accelerator, it'll kick in with the regenerative braking to slow down the truck and recharge the battery. Now, that kind of driving does take a little bit of getting used to, but it's a technology that will make your drive more energy efficient. And you can still use your brake pedal if you need to stop more aggressively. So, do I like Ford's new electric pickup truck? I gotta say that I do. Sure, I don't know where to find a 5-gallon can of battery in case I make a mistake and run out of power, but I'm not afraid to take that risk. The driving experience is amazing and I like the technology. And as far as the extra space and function, that's why I fell in love with trucks to begin with. No, it does not check my box for a long-range tow rig, and having to add in stops for charging on a road trip, that's an extra level of inconvenience. But I gotta say that as technology and infrastructure improve, that's probably gonna become less and less of a problem. Well, thanks for coming along while we talk about the Ford Lightning, but we wanna know what you think. Is the Lightning the kind of truck that would suit your needs? Let us know down in the comments. And we're gonna be doing more with this truck, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel to keep up to date with the content. As always, if you're looking for accessories for a Lightning or any kind of a truck, call the experts or visit us online at RealTruck.com.